Three nightlife mistakes almost everyone makes. You've made at least one of these mistakes. I know I have. Now, none of these mistakes are unique to Thailand, but they're more relevant here than anywhere else. Three mistakes might not seem like a lot, but if you can avoid them, you will save a ton of money. Here we go. Number one, trying to buy interest. Now, this first mistake I will consider to be an absolute classic. Perhaps you have done this yourself. And it happens when a guy thinks that he doesn't need to shower or bother with basic grooming. And you know what? Dressing well is totally overrated. He thinks that as soon as he pays the girl, it will be a hot and passionate experience. Well, sorry to tell you, this will not be the case. The girl might still go with you, but you will sense that she's not into it, and that will ruin your experience. You might be able to pay for her service. You can never pay her to genuinely like you. Now, these types of guys typically exit the game after such an experience, concluding that it doesn't feel like the real deal and the girl didn't even like him. Now, the mistake here is due to a lack of common sense, perhaps basic understanding of human interactions. The bad experience wasn't due to her being a working girl. In fact, it had nothing to do with that. If you think you can pay someone to genuinely like you, and that paying for it would automatically make up for your lack of hygiene or grooming or style, well, you're seriously mistaken. That applies to any social interaction, not just nightlife in Thailand. Numero 2. She can't possibly like you. The second mistake is similar to the first one, but it's the complete opposite. The guy from the first example thinks paying a girl means she automatically likes him. The opposite of that is a guy who thinks a girl who is being paid can never genuinely like you. And both assumptions are incorrect. Just because you pay for a service, the girl can't possibly like you, her customer, or even be genuinely attracted to him. This is such a dumb idea that completely defies logic. If you are a car salesman and your customer is a hot woman, just because she's your customer, you cannot be attracted to her? Of course you can. So why should it be different when it comes to Thailand nightlife? Complete nonsense, such limiting thoughts. The reality is that any working girl can like and even be genuinely attracted to you. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with you being a hot guy or a stage-ready fitness model. In reality, the bar is much, much lower. What most working girls want is a well-groomed guy who takes care of his hygiene, has good manners, and is friendly. Really, that is it, okay? Quite a low bar, but you wouldn't believe how many guys aren't even able to get those very basics right. And number 3 is unrealistically high expectations. Okay? The last mistake would be the guy who thinks he needs to be super hot to get genuine interest from any attractive working girl. It's, let's say, the 60-year-old guy who assumes, oh, young girls are only interested in young guys. And because he thinks that, he picks older women, even though he would really like the younger ones. He goes for what he thinks is realistic and attainable. To such a guy, I would say, you know what? Forget it. Stay home. Don't even go to Thailand if you have such an attitude. Listen, if you take a flight across the globe to have, an epic Thailand experience, you better raise your standards before you board the plane. You need to tell yourself, my way or the highway. That's the right attitude in terms of going for what you really want. I mean, what is the point of going to Thailand and you spend money and time only to go home with women you don't like 100%? You should be brutally honest with yourself in regards to what you want and then go for exactly that. If there's a 40-year age difference between you and the girl you find attractive, so what? Fuck it. I can tell you one thing. If you're a 60-year-old guy walking around with a hot babe, it will only be other women who tell you that you're a creep. Because every other guy, and especially a young guy, they will think, damn, when I'm that old, I want to be like him and also be with a young babe. So what is the solution to those mistakes? It's quite easy. You need exactly two things to avoid making those mistakes. First, you need to educate yourself. Then you will understand how everything works and that yes, nothing is unrealistic. You can have it all, especially if you're willing to pay. Secondly, you need to get in some experiences, not just one experience and then say, oh, it's good or bad, but a dozen intimate experiences, and then you will start to truly understand and enjoy those single man playgrounds.